Hello everyone from Northern California. This is my music room, and obviously it's nighttime here. So if this is awkward, I'm sorry. I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to throw it out into the world. So anyway, I just wanted to pop in and say a couple different things. Whether or not you're a musician, I've noticed some of my high school friends, and particularly posting on Facebook, a positive event, and then, immediately following that up with, well, this has been the worst year for my mental health. And it's now the end of November, and I was thinking, wow, why didn't you say something earlier? Like we could have talked, but you might find yourself in the same boat, not necessarily being open to public, so to speak, or, even with those in your inner circle about how rough this year has been. And no matter how you feel about anything, it's been a tough one. So, yeah, if this has been the worst year for your mental health, you are not alone. I've been through some pretty dark stuff, so this isn't the worst of what I personally have gone through, but this is the newest, different, unprecedented type of thing. Like I said, you are not alone. For myself as a musician in a new area, some of my musician friends have gone back to school face to face. That's great. I personally wasn't comfortable with doing that, at least when COVID started. Just I'm high risk, and whether or not that's a thing, you just you have to gauge your own comfort with it and take in as many facts as you can and just try to make sense of it, which in and of itself can be stressful and overwhelming. Certainly is for me. So some musicians have gone back to school. I find myself in a new environment, and where I'm at in California, we've gone to the purple tier, which is, we were orange for a while, we were doing well, then we went back to red, not doing so well, and now cases are increasing quite a bit, so we're back up to purple. So, essentially that means there are no gigs, no way to meet musicians if you're new, and that has posed a particularly heavy weight on me. My major is technically music theory, but my heart is in performing, and I take what I learn in the classroom, everything I'm passionate about with music theory, and I take it to the stage. And I love that, and I feel like, the very essence of who I am has kind of been put on hold, and, like everybody else, struggling to adapt. And as a musician, trying to figure out, how do I make sense of this? How do I keep myself sane and feed that creative side of me until things go back to normal? Until we find a cure, a vaccine, whatever is going to bring us back to normal. It's tough. And a lot of my musician friends don't really talk about it. So I just wanted to pop in and say, hey, you're not alone. And even if you're a musician and something that you love to do has been taken away, even if the very least it's social interaction. For me, another big thing is racing. I'm very competitive, and I love, race day, waking up, having my cup of coffee, my oatmeal, depending on whether it's a bike race or a run, or I just signed up for a triathlon, which I'm very excited and hoping that it's not canceled in 2021. But I love just getting amped for the race, showing up, knowing I've put in the training, and just kind of giving it my all and seeing what happens race day. It's a lot like a performance to me, but like I said, even if you're just missing human interaction, just seeing your friends and family, my husband and I are probably not going to go see our families this holiday season because they're at risk, and it's the responsible thing to do, and it sucks. It sucks so much, especially, just because we kind of have been out here doing our thing, and we've really only had each other to rely on. And we're both family people, so it's tough. And even if that's what's got you down, that's totally legitimate. And, just hang in there. it'll get better. You know, and for my musician friends, the one thing that I've learned, because I personally have been slower to achieve a lot of the goals that I've set for myself, because I'm a very diligent, goal-oriented person, but COVID has thrown a wrench into everything and just given some unprecedented struggle. You know, for me, it's anxiety, depression. I fall into this weird circle of, well, I don't have a gig to practice for. I don't really have a jam session I can like psych myself up and go to. You know, I have this room, and you know, occasionally a dog will accompany me, in addition to a backing track. But right now, that's it. And it got me horribly depressed. You know, and real talk, I'm still trying to come out of it. But, you know, if you're going through the same thing, you're not alone. Even if you're not a musician, you're not alone. Even if you're not an athlete, you're not alone. This year's been tough. And what I've learned recently, what has kind of lit the fire for me again, is just to remember whatever it is that you're missing, to remember what got you into it, and to go back to that. You know, musically, I bought a new keyboard yesterday because my keyboard was 11 years old. And even though it had weighted key technology, it didn't feel like a keyboard. So I bought one that did. And that simple thing made a world of difference. But, you know, when I sit down to practice or do anything, train for a race, I always have to have the goals and the deliverables and the outcomes and the pressure that drive me. And what I found brought me out of my anxiety and depression, and encouraged me to be creative and just feed that part of me that I need to feed, was getting back to what got me into it. You know, when I was a kid, and just buying sheet music and playing around with it, messing with the melodies, you know, things that aren't necessarily productive in the sense of the trained musicians. You know, I need to go into the practice room, I need to learn these etudes for my lesson next week, I've got to nail down these scales, I have to practice them a certain way. Definitely still do that. But if you're struggling, go back to the fundamentals. Not even the fundamentals. Go back to what was fun for you and reconnect with that. Same with anything you might be missing right now. But just remember what was magical to it, to you, before there were expectations, when it was just joy. Incorporate some of that. That's helped me quite a bit. And I hope that it helps you too. Because even if it doesn't feel productive necessarily, if it makes you happy and pulls you out of a bad place, because right now with the current circumstances, it's very easy to fall into a bad place. If it's joyful, but not necessarily productive, maybe you're putting too much pressure on yourself, you know, maybe it's not. Maybe we don't need to reharmonize Jingle Bell Rock 5 or 6 different times. But if it gets you playing your instrument, if it gets you feeling joy again, if it pulls you out of that funk, you know, maybe it'd be going for a walk with your dogs. Whatever it is that brings you joy, find it and do it. So that's all I wanted to say for now. Personally, I have some stuff in the works that I'm working on. And as I kind of pull myself into a better mental space, I'll be able to share that with you guys very soon. But for now, I just wanted to pop in and say hello. I hope everyone's doing well. If you're not, that's okay. And stay well, stay safe. Bye, guys.